Yo, we're back. Episode 4. Rocco B. We got Scotty G.
How you doing?
We got a big show. We got a couple things to get off our fucking chest. We're going to talk about this new big news with the 17-game season. We got some strong opinions about this, and I don't think we're going to be light on this one. I know I do. I know Scotty's got some strong opinions. This is the first change to the NFL season in over 30 years. When they went to 14 to 16 games, now we're going up to 17.
Yikes.
After the CBA was passed a couple months ago, that 500 players didn't vote for, by the way. We're going to hit that. We got that fucking huge trade between the Niners, the Eagles, and the Dolphins that affects not only the NFL draft for this year, but the NFL draft for the next 2 years. So can't wait to get into that shit and what that means for each of the teams involved. Zach Wilson's pro day. You know how I feel about pro days, but this kid, is he going to be the Jets quarterback at number 2? Is someone else going to trade up for him? Because he's going number 2. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Fucking people shooting in the shorts over this pro day. And we also got breaking news signings, a bunch of signings that we also have to catch you up with. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but I know we told you in episode 4 that we were going to have Dr. Tomas. We were going to talk about his fucking crazy, drug-induced probably thoughts on the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were not going to make the playoffs.
Drug-induced.
And if he did think that they make the playoffs, that they'd be a one and done. So, but we don't have Dr. Tomas today. We will get him on.
He's got a hot take, though, so it's definitely worth waiting for.
Yeah, we can't not have him on, like we talked about. So he will be guaranteed his ass in the seat, episode 5, for us to go back and forth with. But let's fucking get into it. I want to get into this fucking 17-game season bullshit. I just want to.
You don't like it? You don't like it, or you do or you don't like it?
Here's the thing. Let me ask you. What do you believe in this 17-game season? Do you like it? What are the pros and the cons?
What do I believe, or what is this a religion, or what do I think? What do I believe? What do you ask?
Well, let's not get into that. But I want to know. Do you think this is good or bad? And I want to give you the time to tell me your pros and cons.
There is no cons. It's only pros.
No cons.
More football
Wow.
is better. I'm okay for a fucking 20-game season if you want to go there.
Holy shit.
Let's do it. Let's get rid of the preseason. All you need is one game of preseason to play the rookies. Get them a little.
Oh God.
You could do 1 quarter of the starters. 1 quarter of the starters. 3 quarters of the rookies and guys trying to make the team, and then we're rolling off into the season. That's all I need.
Out of your tits. Out of your tits.
Do you really? Who watches these preseason games?
It's not the.
I every year I get all stoked and ready, and I'm like, okay, preseason Jets, let's go, baby. I want to see who we got. I watch it for about 5 minutes, and I'm bored out of my fucking mind. And I'm like, at that point, I'm like, all right, what am I doing here? Like, I start drinking or something. The rest is a blur. And then every preseason, there's like one highlight of like, oh my God, did you see this player? Or did you see this play? And usually it's like not even that incredible. It's just something you didn't expect.
Remember?
And that's it. That's it. That's the end of the story.
Do you remember
done.
guys named Terrell Davis? Do you remember guys named Wes Welker? Do you remember guys named Julian Edelman? I mean, some of these fucking guys made their name. Danny Amendola was another one.
All right, how about this? 2 games. Does that make you feel better? 2
games. Thank you. That's all it took to convince you.
2 preseason games. Yes. What, we had 16, go up to 18? 18 games?
No.
I'm okay with it.
Here's the thing.
More football is better, my friend.
More football is better. Fuck yeah. I mean, as a football fan, there's nothing better than more weeks of getting my ass on the couch on a Sunday and enjoying all the types of food I want to eat that day, and enjoying every fucking second of football on that Sunday. And then, of course, during the week, you're talking about the fucking game. You're talking about the upcoming game. It's unbelievable. Football season is unlike any other fucking sport in this country, in this world, to me. Yes, more football is great, but we got to talk about the cons. Preseason to me is the least sexy fucking
I don't
argument.
Need it.
Nobody needs it other than the guys who are trying to make the fucking team.
Real quick, just so I can get this point off my chest. You know how you were just saying, oh, Terrell Davis, all these guys that doing like made their name in preseason? How about all the guys that ended their career in preseason because they were, or the season? ended their season because they got hurt in preseason. It happens every year. Every year there's 2 or 3 guys that get busted up in preseason for some dumbass play because some guy no one ever heard of off the streets trying to make a name for himself dives at the knee of like some superstar.
It's
It
football.
happens every year.
It's fucking football. I mean, there's
So
got to be
waste.
There's got to be. I get the whole thing. Like, I'm fucking with you with 4 games. Fuck 4 games in the preseason. It's fucking stupid. Even 3 might be a stretch. I like 2. Maybe some of these guys wouldn't have made their names in 2 games. Who knows? But 4 is too fucking much. I guarantee it. And you're right. But let's get off preseason. I think the con to this, more football as a football fan, is fantastic. Can't beat it. But how does Week 17 normally look? The teams that are already in it, they fucking rest their players. It's like the Greg Popovich of the NFL, right? They're resting their fucking players, right? Load management. Sometimes Week 17 doesn't matter for some teams in some games.
Well, how about this? Week 17, you can get those Terrell Davis players, Wes Welkers, to show up. How about that?
Well, guess what? They might not be in the team anymore because the fucking preseason's cut off, right? So here's the thing. I think that was Week 17 in a 16-game season. Now you're going to have Week 18 in a 17-game season. Who knows? That shit might be for 2 weeks. It may be 2 weeks worth of that. What if a team's fucking 14-1? They played 15 games and they're 14-1. And now they got 2 games left and they're fucking best team in the league and blah, blah, blah. Nothing could be changed in the last 2 games. What are they going to do? They're going to fucking play their balls off? Of course not. So that's what I worry about. And then also when I get into these fucking players coming out with what the fuck they're saying, they're going to prove my point where this shit with the competition and what the game actually will look like for certain teams worries me. That's what the con is to me to adding games onto the season. And I want to get into it real quick. J.J. Watt, when he first talked about, when they were talking about ratifying the CBA and just giving the opportunity for these owners to vote on the fact that they're going to put a 17-game season in, Watt said, it's a hard no. Like, he didn't want it. He didn't want the fucking season. He didn't want the CBA to pass, whatever.
Fuck does J.J. Watt have any say in this? The guy doesn't play more than 5 fucking games a year anyway. What does it matter if we had a 50-game season? He wouldn't play more than 5 of them.
He's trying to protect his brand.
Does this guy care?
That's all he cares about is his fucking brand. Then you got Alvin Kamara, right? He just comes out and says, shit's dumb as hell. That's what he says on his Twitter. Emmanuel Sanders comes out and says, no, if you were to ask me about 17 games, my body was hurting and I needed a break. I was aching all over. My ankles were so sore. My big toe was even sore. Just everything. What a fucking pussy. You play football. It's 1 extra game. You know what it is?
You're confusing me and the audience. Are you for this or against this? Because I don't know which way you're going now.
No. Let me get to my point. This last tweet really fucking chapped my ass. Stephon Gilmore, star corner for the Patriots. This guy says, well, I was at 4 massages a week. Now I guess I got to boost that up to 6.
Watson would love that.
I was going to say.
Deshaun Watson would be all over that. He's like, let's make it 20 games.
Watson's like, my God, give me 30 games. I'm going to tell you that right now. If that's what they're talking about, if that's what these players are worried about, that it's player safety and all this other bullshit and like it's just so much harder on our bodies, horse fucking shit. In my opinion.
Why wouldn't they be worried about that?
In my opinion, because they're not getting paid for it. If you
but that's
said
what I'm saying. That's
players,
why they're not getting more money.
No,
it's
exactly.
just their money spread out.
But they're not.
So
they're
why
not
wouldn't
saying
they
that,
complain about
Scotty. Scotty, they ain't saying that though.
But that's what they're alluding to.
Their argument
they're
is
alluding
player
to the fact
safety. Richard Sherman's saying it. Everybody's saying it. It's all about player safety. Like an extra fucking game is so much harder on their bodies that all of a sudden now the love for the game of football goes away and now they don't want to do it. You know why? The contracts are built for a 16-game season. And these motherfuckers
That's exactly why. It's all
haven't
about
been
the money.
told, but they're not saying that.
By the way, that should be the Jets' new slogan to get players to come to play for the Jets. If you want for player safety, you only will play 16 games every year. You'll never play extra games. So come to the Jets. You'll never play the postseason, so you'll keep less bruising, less hits on the head. Come to play for the New York Jets.
We will never make the postseason. And even if we're in it in week 17, or game 17, you're not going to play.
We might stop playing you week 15.
Oh, my God. No, it's just, listen, I want transparency. These fucking players are such pussies. They're coming out and they're blaming it on player safety. Bullshit. It's all about pay me more. They wouldn't have a fucking problem with this if the
course.
CBA came out and said, we're doing 17 games, but you're going to make an extra game check, that wasn't already built in your contract.
And
they'd be
that's
like,
exactly,
oh, yay.
That's exactly what's going to happen. And if they're smart,
And they won't be talking about safety anymore.
Watch this. If they're smart, they'll put in the contract that they only get that paycheck if they fucking play. Then you don't got to worry about these motherfuckers sitting.
Well, it's a good point. Because some fucking players wanted to say they were like, fuck 17 games, fuck 16 games with 1 bye. Some of these fucking players were saying we want 16 games and 2 byes. What the fuck?
Wait a minute. My argument from day one, I shouldn't say day one, but like from like 2 years ago, was to extend the season to 18 games and do 2 byes, so it's a 20-week season.
You mean 18 weeks? Oh, you're talking 18 games and 2 byes.
Yes. So it'd be 20 weeks. It'd be awesome. You extend football, and it gives people a break in the beginning of the season and a chance in the end of the season to help with teams who get the injury bug or X, Y, and Z, or have to fire a coach or whatever the case is. You get a new player, you can kind of incorporate them, but it gives you 2 breaks and it extends the season. I don't know why the NFL or players wouldn't be for that, because you'd get more money. You can just do all more. You get more advertising. You get more ticket sales. Everything. Everything.
No, I'm with you
across the board.
And it would be great for football fans. You're talking 18 games and it's a 20-week season. You can
maybe that's what they're eventually gonna get into.
There's no fucking way. Like I said, some of these players are begging for 2 bye weeks with the same 16-game season. You give them 18 games, they're gonna ask for fucking 4 bye weeks. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is you gotta come out and fucking be real. Tell me that it's about the fact that we're playing an extra game and you're not going to give me an extra money. Cut the bullshit with the player safety. You can tear an Achilles on one fucking play, let alone fucking another extra game. So forget about the player safety. Tell me it's about the money. That's the real problem. These guys
agree.
are
I agree
complaining
with you
about that shit because of the money.
100%.
It's ridiculous.
I agree 100%. It's all about the money.
Ridiculous.
But I also want to throw this little nugget in there.
You going to give me a little springs?
A little sprinkle of my opinion. Actually, it's not actually any facts. The one thing I will say, now this is kind of slightly off topic, but in the realm, talking about player safety, the one thing that really annoys me though is the one thing that's always brought up, and we've brought it up too. We're guilty of this, is saying that it's more of like a pussy pity pat league where nobody gets hurt, nobody gets hit, the quarterback isn't whatever, and it's all like the old school football. You talk about old school football, how it was so like tough and rugged, and everyone's getting hit and clobbered and whatnot. And it's funny because everyone who supports that, including older players, they're the reason that we are in this pussy league, because they're the ones who complained and sued and freaked out. And I'm not discrediting CTE. I understand it's a real thing. I understand there's a lot of injuries and whatnot. But it's like the same people who are like always like, oh, this guy Tom Brady couldn't survive in the league back in the day, blah, blah. Yeah, you may be right, but it's because of your guys who you claim to be such badasses, because of them being pussies about it now, complaining and suing and all this other shit, is the reason why we had to make all these rules.
Again,
this is why there's all the lawsuits and all this and that. And I'm not saying it's not deserving, but don't come at me and say that it's pussy league and that it was so much better and badass in the day when you're the reason it is. I think it should be safer. I agree with the safety, but there's a reason that it's like that. It's because of the old school guys.
But ultimately, they also caved and changed their story about everything because of what? What reason? Money.
That's my point.
The whole thing is money, and that's the problem.
Life's about money, my friend.
I understand, but you're playing a fucking football game. Like it's the same thing with the whole Kaepernick thing and people coming to the stadium and not wanting to fucking deal with politics and fucking all that bullshit. When you come to the stadium, it's the same thing. You can
count me out on any Kaepernick talk.
I'm not talking about Kaepernick. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. How can you convince a fan who just spent $120 on a ticket that came into the fucking stadium to watch football for 3.5 hours, and you're getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars to play a goddamn game? How are you going to tell me that you're going to be able to convince them that this shit is about player safety? Give me a fucking break. They all want more money. It's just sad to me. It's just sad, and who knows how this is going to go. Because like you said, there's going to be shit now that's going to be built into contracts. You're going to get players that want to sit and they would have sat, but now if you pay them extra money, they're not going to sit. So it's like, what is that? You know what I mean? So it's just, it's unfortunate. But if nothing changes and everything stays the same, shit, give me more football. I get you. Give me more football, but that's not how it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of cons.
Are you aware who the Cowboys play if it goes to 17 weeks?
Yeah, it's the Patriots. It's
or 17 games.
It's a fantastic. It's
the
you know what's funny?
Patriots?
It's the Patriots. The Patriots we would go to New England, and the Jets play the Eagles.
I know. That's
So,
what I was going to say. Me and Dr. Tomas going to.
It's a
fucking hit
very
each other that
very cool fucking week 8. I guess weeks 18 it would be for us. That's interesting.
I think Dr. Tomas was telling me. I think it's the last division you played, and then the seeding.
Not interconference, so it'd have to be where you were at in a division you didn't play this year. The next year, it's a weird formula.
Did the AFC East play the NFC East this past year? I'm pretty sure they did, right?
No,
I can't remember.
No.
Oh no, we played the NFC West.
No,
That's right. We played Seattle.
Yeah.
How did they come up with the Eagles?
It's a weirdo.
and the
It's a
Patriots?
weirdo formula. But
Ooh,
Peter
pan
King
out.
did a cool article about the formula. But it's not official. But it's everybody's guess these are
Aren't
the
they
teams.
aren't they voting on it this week though?
Yeah. It's not official yet. But yeah, Patriots at Cowboys would be a fucking great game. Or excuse me, the other way around. Cowboys going to New England and the Jets and the Eagles. So it'd be great. All right. Speaking of the Eagles, man, that fucking 3-way deal that wasn't a 3-way deal.
I have to confess something to the people real quick.
Oh boy.
One thing I got to say. Last episode, I made it very clear that I felt that this free agency was boring as fuck, I believe is the actual term.
We both said that. Yes, you're right.
I need to come out today and say I couldn't have been more wrong.
Oh boy.
This is big.
Huge.
This was huge.
Huge.
Go ahead. I'll let you get into it.
Well, I think honestly, we could still say free agency was boring as fuck because this has nothing to do with free agency. This was a trade for the draft.
What I meant when I say free agency, I mean like the off.
The off season.
I mean, I include the draft and all
Okay.
that bullshit.
Well, yes. Then if that's the fucking case, then this thing's a goddamn blockbuster. You're saying that the Niners getting the 3rd pick from the Dolphins, moving all the way up from 12, they mortgaged their entire draft future for this pick.
Wow.
You don't mortgage your future for a defensive lineman. You don't mortgage your future for a running back. You don't mortgage
What
your
about-
future for a wide receiver.
They're probably doing it for Mr. fucking Potts. That's probably who they're doing it for.
You might mortgage your future for the tight end of the future, but no, this ain't happening. They got George Kittle. We're gonna have to come up with the quarterbacks. We're gonna have to come up with what's the deal with Jimmy G. But let's get off of them for a second. Let's go through the rest of the trade. You got the Dolphins now that decided to move off of their number 3, give it to the Niners. But then they moved off the number 12, and they traded that to the Eagles and got
the
their
number
number 6. So now they swapped. The Eagles get the 2022 first-round draft pick that the Niners gave the Dolphins. The Dolphins hang on to the 2023 first-round pick they got from the Niners, and they move back in to the top 6. What's that about? The Eagles, fucking insane, getting out of the top 12, or getting out of the top 11 guys, so they get back to 12. I understand that they get another first-round pick next year. Brings them to potentially 3 first-round picks next year if the Wentz thing
Who are you talking about,
happens.
Eagles?
The Eagles. And then the Dolphins, they get back in to the top 6 and get an extra first-round pick in 2023. I want to know why they wanted 6. What do you think?
Well, you want to start with the Dolphins here?
Because they could have stayed at 12. They could have had an extra 2 first-round picks the next 2 years, but yet they decided to give it to the Eagles and get back into the top 6. So you tell me, why'd they get back in the top 6?
So they're going to have, what, next year they're going to have 1 first-round pick.
Yeah.
The year after they're going to have 2 first-round
They're
picks.
gonna have
2023, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is clear as day. And I think the Eagles are almost in the same boat, but I think Miami's giving it a little bit more time. They're listening to your boy Scotty G over here, and they're saying, you know what? We're going to give Tua all the weapons and opportunities he needs, and we're going to give him everything he needs to succeed. And if he doesn't, we'll give him 2 seasons. If he doesn't, we got the firepower to go get our guy. And by that time, the rest of the squad should be ready to rock, even though I think it's ready to rock right now. I'm telling you right now, this Dolphins team scares the shit out of me. I'm not scared of the fucking Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen throwing footballs like he's fucking skipping rocks on a fucking lake, this guy. I am scared of this Dolphins team. I don't even care. I don't even care if 2 ends up sucking. This whole Dolphins team is no joke.
You know who you should be scared of? It's the New England Patriots. But I think that you're right.
Christ.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. But I'm not holding out anything for the fact that they don't draft quarterback at 6. Because let's go back to the Tua draft.
Oh, my
real quick.
God. Are you kidding me?
Real quick. Number 5.
Are you serious right now?
2020 draft, number 5.
This guy doesn't. Rocco does not quit. It's embarrassing.
They
dude.
just said, you know what? We're not
Embarrassing.
we're gonna make sure that we don't overdraft anybody. I think Tua's gonna come to us. We know Joey Burrow's going number 1, but let's just wait to see if he comes. We think he's gonna. People are scared about his injuries, blah, blah, blah. He came. Tua came to them at 5. You don't think that with 4 guys, potentially, 4 guys that can go in the top 8 in quarterbacks. We all know Trevor's going number 1. You got Zach Wilson. You got Trey Lance. You got Justin Fields. Potentially 4 guys in the top 8. You don't think one of them's going to be around at 6? I think there's a great chance.
You're talking quarterback.
Yes. I think there's a great chance.
You have the idea that you're going to do all these moves and move up to 6 and select the 4th or 5th or even 6th best quarterback. That's a fucking joke.
No.
Why wouldn't you build the team?
No. What I'm saying is Tua was number 1 on their board in the draft last year. He was the 5th pick. They may love a Justin Fields as their number 1 fucking guy. And Justin Fields is there at 6.
You think Fields is going to be there at 6?
There's a great chance. I think Lance is going number 3. I think Trey Lance is going number 3. So you're telling me between Atlanta, which is locked up with Matt Ryan, you're telling me with Cincy they ain't taking a quarterback.
Rocco, you're out of your tits, bro.
So guess what? So you're going to tell me 4 quarterbacks go in the top 4? It's not going to happen. It never has happened. Every year someone says that shit can happen. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen.
I would have agreed with you until this happened. Dr. Tomas has been saying 4 and 4.
No,
I've been telling him he's nuts, and this might actually happen though.
There's no way
it might actually happen. This
year. If Atlanta stays at 4, why would Atlanta, with Matt Ryan there, minimum another 2 years, in my opinion, with his contract? They just got Arthur Smith as coach, who turned around Ryan Tannehill's whole fucking career. Matt Ryan is still a very good quarterback. He's still got pieces. He's missing some offensive line. He's missing a goddamn defense. Why would you draft another quarterback at 4? Why? So the only way, to me,
what if they
Dr.
trade
Tomas,
out?
yes,
What
the
if
only
they
way
trade out?
Dr. Tomas's prediction is correct. If Atlanta is not at number 4, then there's a chance. Cincinnati ain't taking a quarterback at 5. If Atlanta stays at 4, they're not taking quarterback either. Number 6, the 4th available quarterback will be there. Well, the 4th quarterback will be there at number 6, and if it's who Miami likes, I have no fucking issue with saying that they could take that guy.
I've seen mock drafts where New England actually moved into that 4 spot. I think that's kind of a stretch, but not
like I told you, it would be completely out of the fucking realm of what Belichick normally does. And there was an article that already came out, I believe, that Belichick said he wasn't enamored with free agency in the draft with these quarterbacks. So
but you know what else is out of the realm of Belichick is fucking having the most guaranteed money in like fucking history.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
He dropped like $82 million guaranteed is like the most ever
he had
for free agency.
He had to fucking know that this team, he needed a lot of work.
Why is it out of the realm of possibility? Atlanta goes and gets Justin Fields, who's from Georgia, I believe, or Atlanta, and
I'm not saying it is.
But they get him and they sit him for 2 years. Did you ever hear of a guy named Aaron Rodgers or fucking Jimmy Garoppolo or these other guys that sat and turned out to still be studs?
Well, Jimmy G ain't a stud.
And he's a stud.
But yes, this ain't the league that it used to be. These guys get thrown in the fire now, and they get thrown in the fire. You've seen it with almost every quarterback that hasn't started the year that's as a starter. He plays in the first year. That never used to happen, ever. And now that's the league. That's the league. So, no, I think Atlanta would be dumb as fuck to take a quarterback at 4, knowing that they're locked in with Matt Ryan. It just doesn't make any sense, especially with a quarterback whisperer like fucking Arthur Smith as the new head coach. So to me,
you're not wrong on that thought process. I just think it's not out of the possibility they still trade out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The only way I think 4 quarterbacks go to the top 4 is if Atlanta's not there. And we all know that since he's not taking a quarterback,
I got 2 names. I got 2 names. I think Miami actually moved up to 6-4. I got 2 names.
Go ahead.
One is your boy, Mr. fucking Potts. I think Kyle Pitts. That you keep arguing every team that's been successful, the Travis Kelce, Tampa Bay with Gronk and Brate, New England with Gronk and Hernandez and all the guys they've had. The list goes on and on.
Kittle with the Niners, but that was
Kittle with the
pick,
Niners.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not many great tight ends, but every team that has a good tight end definitely does prosper. It does help. When Jimmy Graham had his little run, they were great. Yeah. So why not use that as this final piece to the offense? Get a Kyle Potts in there, or who I think will be there at 6, to be honest with you, unless Atlanta takes him. Or what about your boy Penesu?
Penesu, huh? You want to like a nice Penesu, huh? I think you're right as far as the thought process of Penei Sewell. I think they could really go offensive line if they really want to fucking show Tua the respect. I honestly think Cincinnati. I just read an article about Joe Burrow.
Cincinnati's taking Jamar Chase.
Yeah, Joe Burrow wants Jamar Chase. If I was him, I'd want Kyle Pitts. But
I would get Penei Sewell.
Nah, I mean, they got a plethora of things like we talked about in episode 3 about the Bengals, but plethora of options. But Kyle Pitts would be.
These guys come in here all the time.
Hey, what do you want, huh? You come in here all the time. What do I get you, huh? Oh, I get you some Penei Sewell, huh? The Dolphins need offensive line, but they also need a playmaker. And Kyle Pitts would be fantastic. It's just, I don't know if they're sold on Tua yet. That pick will tell me. If that pick is not, of course, a quarterback, and it's either offensive line or playmaker, then they are going for Tua. I don't think they're going for 2 seasons. I think that's fucking insane.
I think Cincy is going to learn a lesson from the Houston Texans. If your star franchise quarterback says, I want this guy, you go and fucking get him. You don't do the Deshaun Watson thing and be like, nah, or the Russell Wilson thing and Seahawks and be like, nah, go back to fucking throwing footballs. You can get no say here. You listen to him. Now, you don't do that every draft. But when you're in this situation where you can literally take any player to help that team out because they need a million pieces, your star quarterback says, I want this guy, me and him are going to build this empire, you fucking go get him.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What about, let's talk about Philly. So why did Philly drop out of this year where they basically were guaranteed at 6? Guaranteed a stud like Chase, Pitts, one of the best offensive linemen available. You know, if they fell in love with a guy like Devontae Smith or someone like that, I think they're going to be all gone at 12. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? This just, to me, just reeks again of Howie Roseman being in the same boat as Dave Gettleman. Like, what the fuck are they doing? How do they have a job?
Well, here's the thing. I actually think they got this right, honestly.
What?
I actually think they got this right. Now, the one thing is, I will say, yeah, you're right. They took him out of the spot of getting all these receivers and a lot of these top playmakers, but there's still going to be some good guys on the board. I mean, there's going to be some good cornerbacks on the board. There's still going to be some solid defensive linemen. I mean, there's going to be some guys on the board that are going to help. Waddle still might be on the board.
Sure, I mean, it's number 12. I mean, you know, it's not fucking pick number 32, but still.
No, but here's the thing. What did we complain about with Carson Wentz? What was the biggest thing we complained? It wasn't just the management of how you drafted. It was the management of how you handled the quarterbacks. It was handling his psyche. I said the same thing. Look, I'm not going to compare Mark Sanchez to anyone. I think Mark Sanchez proved he sucked. But I think a big factor, because he couldn't read defenses, but a big factor in his decline was his psyche. The butt fumble ruined this guy.
Of course.
Like, it happens with a lot of guys. Yeah. Quarterbacks are they're fragile-minded fucks. You do little things, and they're done. And what I'm saying with that is, what's the one thing you already put Hurts in a shitty situation last year, like going back and forth, the coach, the owner, the GM, everyone's on different pages and different corners. You're finally, for the first time in like 5 years, saying, this is our guy for at least one season. We are supporting him. We're going to get what he needs, and we're going to let him clear-minded. We'll see what he's got. And then if he sucks, you give him 16 games. If he sucks, guess what you got next year? 2, potentially 3 first-rounders. You can package it together and go get your boy on whoever the quarterback is next year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, you know, it also doesn't take it out of the realm of possibility that this is what I hear on the day of the draft, Thursday night, round 1. And with the 12th selection, the Philadelphia Eagles select quarterback Mac Jones out of University of Alabama.
Now, if that happens, I'm out. I'm like,
God.
Howie Rosen needs to be gone tomorrow.
I've listened to a lot of Eagles fans over the past couple of days, watched a lot of stuff, and they're pissed. They don't like it. They went from talking about Kyle Pitts and maybe Jamar Chase or maybe Devontae Smith to now talking about cornerback J.C. Horn from South Carolina, or hoping to God that Jalen Waddle falls to them at 12. It's a sad state of affairs with the Eagles and the Eagles fans, but I don't give a shit. I love it.
I came home and found Dr. Tomas crying in the corner. He was just rocking back and forth crying. He just said, Jamar Chase,
I love
Devontae Smith.
Oh, I love it.
Pitts.
They're all gone. They're all gone. Now, also, let's get to San Fran. San Fran, to me, is now turned into the juiciest news in this whole trade, because now we all know you don't mortgage your fucking future for anything but a quarterback. They trade up 9 picks. Who is it? Let's go. I told you, I think it's Trey Lance. Who do you think it is?
I think it's Trey Lance, too.
Yeah. Yep.
I wish I had a different opinion to make it like juicy, but I think it's because it's got Trey Lance written all over it. But here's the fucking crazy thing. And a buddy of mine's a huge Niner fan, and because of that, I call him my second team, like I said before. Yeah. I get a lot of shit for that. But I follow them very closely. Of course, if it's Jets Niners, I'm taking Jets all day. But because they don't really play each other or affect each other, I like to root for them. I like to follow them. He's been saying how crazy this front office is, and it is. They make you. No one ever knows what the fuck they're going to do.
They've made a ton of crazy moves, yes.
And Adam Schefter even says nobody knows what these guys are planning at number 3. The wild thing is they apparently tried to trade with the Jets.
Yes.
Jets said no.
Yep.
They also, which is to defend your point, I heard also tried to trade with the Falcons. Falcons said no, which tells me the Falcons probably aren't trading out, by the way, because I forgot that little tidbit.
Yeah.
But what if they wanted to trade with the Jets, which is a little bit alarming if you're a diehard Niners fan, what if they actually like Zach Wilson? And that's who they went out to go get. And now they're moving into 3 because that's the best they can do, and they're throwing a Hail Mary saying, well, maybe the Jets won't take him.
I think you're right.
What if they're going into 3 not really knowing who the fuck they really want?
That's a fantastic take. They might have on their board, they might say 2 things. And I think it's all fucking revolving around Jimmy G. Zach Wilson, to me, is way more ready to start than Trey Lance, right?
Who looked great, by the way. Just say that.
So, and we'll get into that. I think Trey Lance needs at least a year. At least a year. If you draft Trey Lance, then you got Jimmy G for a year. You play Jimmy G, and you got Lance coming in the next year. But if the Jets take my boy Pitts, or the Jets take offensive line, and don't take the quarterback, then Zach Wilson's fucking staring you at the face.
Yeah, it might be something like that.
And for and in San Fran, an attractive looking quarterback is kind of, what they like to look at. So you got Zach Wilson staring you at the face at number 3. Now you can get off Jimmy G. You can get off Jimmy G right away and go get the Patriots pick number 15.
To piggyback off your point, I have a feeling you might be right. I have a feeling that New England wants Jimmy, but they ain't ready to pull the trigger. Or maybe another team wants Jimmy, but they ain't ready to pull the trigger. Probably because of his fucking injuries and whatever. The reason why I think you might be right, and they might be keeping Jimmy and drafting a quarterback like a Trey Lance, or setting it up so that if they get Trey Lance, they have Jimmy and he's the backup, is because look at their roster. It's Jimmy G and nobody else right now. There's no other quarterbacks on that roster.
Yes, absolutely. But every other piece of the roster is ready to rock, as you say.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, wouldn't you go get a backup? And I did hear they were in the running for Flacco, which I have no idea why everyone fucking loves Flacco so much. But I did hear they were in the running for Flacco. But other than Flacco, they've not made a run at anyone. They let Mullins go, which I guess they could re-sign. I wouldn't mind him as a backup either. They got C.J. Beathard re-signed signed in Jacksonville.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they got no backup at the moment.
No, they got a plan. They're taking a quarterback. It's as simple as that. But it just depends, like you said. I really believe that they got 2 guys. They got 2 guys in mind, and one of them's going to be there. That's why they went up. So now let's talk about your boy Zach Wilson. You know me with the fucking pro days. I don't give a shit what you look like in your shirt and shorts. I will tell you right now, I can go out in front of that crowd that he had, and I will
get the fuck out of here.
I will electrify.
Come on.
I will electrify people in my T-shirt and shorts. You put a helmet and a shoulder pad on me? No, ain't happening.
We talking.
I gotta go.
About We talking about the football field or the wrestling ring, or what are we talking
Well,
about?
we're talking about both, but I'm telling you, if you put a football in my hand still, and you want me to throw to some receivers on air, I'll electrify some fucking people. But I ain't getting fucking drafted second overall in the draft, okay? Because you gotta watch the fucking tape. But from what I saw, this kid, the way that he rolled around, the way that he scheduled his pro day with what he wanted to show these scouts, this fucking kid is just like Mahomes, in my opinion. This kid could be the next Pat Mahomes. And the Jets are either primed for their fucking future stud quarterback, or they can package this thing into the biggest fucking deal that the draft's ever seen, because Zach Wilson has so much cachet right now. He's the hottest thing in the draft. The Jets could package whatever the fuck they wanted for Zach Wilson, and these teams would come. San Fran would have done it, whatever. But the fact that they didn't do it to San Fran, the fact that, these teams can't now trade up to 2, maybe the deal wasn't good enough, but maybe they're tipping their hand, and maybe they're saying, we're taking this fucking guy. And I think if I'm a betting man right now, I think you got a new quarterback, pal.
Well, I agree with you. I agree. I think that's going to be the guy, but I got a couple things here. One, you're not electrifying anybody. You probably scare people away. I don't know what you got going on.
Well, they'd have to
especially you in shorts is the last thing I want to ever think about.
Well, I was going to say, you might have to get a 3X Under Armour tank top, but other than that.
I got a couple things for this. One, I just want to say that I think you're a little bit hard on these pro days. I agreed with you originally, but I took some time, I was watching it, and I was kind of processing it. I made my lady watch it with me because I need her to understand why I'm going to be a fucking piece of shit during the football season. She needs to understand my misery.
This could be the
guy.
So,
yeah, we sat down, and she was asking me questions about it, and I was explaining to her. And as I was explaining to her, I was like, man, Rocco is fucking wrong. He's fucking wrong, as usual.
Oh, boy.
And what I wanted to tell her, or what I did tell her, and what I'm going to tell you, is, yeah, I agree. It's more impressive and important when you're wearing shoulder pads and watching the tape, because obviously there's no defense. You're in shorts and a shirt. That's not going to happen. But they're not looking at that anymore. They're looking at your footwork. They're looking at your mechanics. They're looking at how you, like, your arm strength, your loft, your touch. That's the things that they're focusing on. This is like the cherry on top for the evaluation. That's why the pro day is important. And then when you do things like add things like he did with the fucking crazy throw where he threw it off his back foot and went like right
Absolutely.
across the body, it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
When you do things like that, it adds a little more to it to say, oh man. Or with Sam Darnold a couple years ago when he threw in the rain, that was impressive as fuck too.
Absolutely. And you're gonna prove my point.
It's a little cherry on top. But what I'm saying is he looked great.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be. He looks like a jerk off, by the way. He looks like some frat boy asshole that nobody likes.
He does look like a prima donna. I will say that.
Yeah, I think from what Dr. Tomas has said, he's got a little bit of like that Baker Johnny Manziel in him.
Yeah, he's got a chip.
Again, I don't want to bring Johnny Manziel on this. You're the Johnny Manziel guy. I don't ever want to talk about Johnny Manziel.
Ugh.
But like he's got like that Baker mentality, which again I said there's two ways to be in New York. You either be a quiet little bitch like Eli Manning, or you be a loudmouth like
Joe
star,
Namath.
like a Joe Namath.
Yeah, I get you.
Or like how kind of like Baker Mayfield is in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I think if you have that personality, you can make it work. So I was happy with what I saw. I do believe the Jets are going to take him. I think he looked great. I don't want to go out and start saying he looks like Mahomes. I think that's a little too premature. I've also heard people compare him to Brett Favre, but I do like the intangibles. Well, I think it was because he's
not as gunslingery, and I'm not. I didn't mean
that's what they were saying. I haven't watched a lot of this guy. I don't watch BYU. I don't want to watch BYU.
I watched a lot of him, and honestly, no, gunslinger is not the word. It's he's ballsy. He throws. He has ballsy throws, but he's not gunslinging all over the place.
I think the
Favre was like fucking. Nobody else.
You're one of those Favre fucking guys.
No. I'm saying he's like
remember everyone was
you can't.
Sucking Favre off for a while?
I'm not sucking him off. I'm just saying he was incomparable. Like he did shit that like you were like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? Why would he do that? Yeah.
One of the things they said about this kid though was he kind of, I can't think of the word. He thrives in like chaos and he makes shit up as he goes, kind of like a Pat Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
But Favre used to kind of do that too. When he would be like, you think he's down and out
to the extreme though. I mean, he was just doing shit that was like his coaches are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know? But
yeah. Well, he did a lot of bonehead things.
Yeah.
The only thing that does make me nervous is when I was watching that pro day, they were obviously going through evaluations, and I didn't realize that BYU had like an astonishing offensive line. Apparently, this kid didn't get touched, and apparently, it was like a head and shoulders above every other competition they played. So this kid had like a firm, comfy pocket. That makes me a little nervous. But at this point, with 100 masseuses and fucking Deshaun Watson deal,
Mhm.
and I don't think Russ is going anywhere.
No.
I think I think he's our best bet.
Yeah.
Now it would be amazing. Wouldn't it be amazing? Is if he got so much hype that Urban Meyer's like, you know what? Let's take Zach Wilson.
That's what you want. I think that's what you want as a Jets fan. But I'm telling you, I still don't feel like, I don't know. I don't know if Lawrence is a New York guy. I just don't. I really don't. So, but let me just real quick talk about the pro day and everything like that real quick, as far as, doing the oohs and ahs and the throws that make you jump up a board. I'm going to throw two names at you. And you threw Darnold in there, which was great, because that, if you remember that pro day where he's fucking out
It was
in the
unreal.
rain, he was like fucking, Mayock was shooting in his shorts fucking talking about, what Darnold looked like in the rain. And again, it hasn't really translated to the NFL. But two other guys that aced their pro day. Jamarcus Russell, Mitchell Trubisky. Let's just talk about those two guys, okay?
I don't remember Mitch Trubisky's pro day. I remember Jamarcus Russell's pro day very well, but I don't remember Mitch
Russell
Trubisky
was so
pro
good.
day.
He was throwing the ball 80 yards in the air.
On his knees.
It was unreal, right? Trubisky was running all over the place, throwing across his body, have great footwork, had this moxie about him. He was fast. Everyone was like, shit. Yeah, look how that worked out. So that's why I don't hold a lot of esteem in the pro days. I don't really think it should really help or hurt you. There could be one day you're off throwing a ball. But guess
Rocco.
what? I got 12 fucking videos, of games that I can watch, so.
Rocco. Jets, Jets. We'll find a way to fuck it up. Don't worry about it.
I'm not rooting against the Jets. I'm just saying, stop fucking putting so much stock in a pro day, but I still think Zach Wilson's your guy. So we got some signings to catch you guys up with. We got Dr. Tomas, our resident PhD in breaking news, has left us a list.
Today?
He left us a list. We got Jaron Reed, defensive tackle from the Seattle Seahawks, got cut, and he immediately signed a one-year deal with the Chiefs for $7 million. This guy is going
the rich
to
get
be,
richer.
He's going to be packaged with Chris Jones on the inside and Frank Clark on the outside. The Chiefs have gotten better now on the defensive line. Somebody who's leaving the Chiefs is Sammy Watkins. He gets a one-year deal, $6 million with the Ravens. He's going to get paid $1 million for every game he plays, Scotty.
I don't understand the Ravens. It's like the Ravens, they keep putting in like these speed downfield receivers, and fucking Lamar Jackson throws the ball about 5 yards of play. He can't throw the ball downfield. So I'm sure it's going to be a great improvement.
Yeah, and there was a lot of receivers that said no to Baltimore. So
really,
yeah,
probably for that reason.
And exactly, I think that's because they realize it's almost career suicide at this point. Now let's go over the NFC. You got what I talked about, episode 3, Tampa Bay re-signing all of their starters. Lenny Fournette, the last guy to sign, signs a one-year deal, $3.5 million, puts all 22 starters back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
TB12 is a hell of a GM, I'll tell you that.
Never has happened in the history of the league the next year after they won a Super Bowl. All starters re-signed. Never happened. Unbelievable. Can't wait. And I can't wait for episode 5 to get in with Dr. Tomas about how nuts he is for fucking thinking that Tampa Bay is not going to return to the playoffs. As you remember, the former Dallas Cowboy, Xavier Woods, the guy who came out and says he doesn't try hard on every fucking play, signed a one-year deal, $2.5 million to go with the Minnesota Vikings. Mike Zimmer can have this motherfucker.
You sound really upset about it, huh?
Can't stand them. I can't stand guys that are talking about all they want is money, and I can't stand guys that says I don't want to try every play. It's ridiculous.
Interesting that he even admitted that.
Unbelievable. Carlos Dunlap, one of my top dogs in free agency, has finally signed. He got a 2-year deal with the Seattle Seahawks.
I like that. That's a good signing
for $8 million a year. They re-signed him for cheaper than they had him, and he joins a Seattle Seahawks pass rush now with Benson Mayowa and Kerry Hyder and these guys that they re-signed. Man, Seattle's doing business. I'll tell you that. They mean business.
Wow, you guys mean business.
And the last one, staying in the NFC West, your boy Matthew Stafford has finally got a deep threat if he can stay healthy with the signing of Deshaun Jackson, 1 year, $4.5 million, to go to the Los Angeles Rams and return home to where he played college ball.
It's a big risk, big reward kind of move. If he stays healthy, he's going to be dangerous. But doesn't it feel like the Rams do this every year? It feels like they take a fucking large risk on a guy who was a stud a few years back and hasn't really come back into like play anymore. But like, it's I don't know. They take these big gambles, and sometimes it pays off, but a lot of times it hasn't.
Yeah,
Interesting enough.
I don't feel sorry one bit for McVay if Deshaun Jackson plays less than 3 games this year. But
Yeah, boy.
but you're right. If he stays healthy, dangerous weapon for Matthew Stafford. So that'll wrap it up for episode 4. Like I said, we got Dr. Tomas coming on for episode 5. We're gonna hit the Tampa Bay Buccaneer talk with I can't get over the ridiculosity of his thinking that Tampa Bay doesn't return to the playoffs. And if they do, they're one and done. Dr. Tomas is fucking out of his tits on this one. But I do also want to say that we have been sponsored this episode by LoadBoost, and it's our favorite sexual performance supplement. LoadBoost is a supplement from VitalaBoost that's for men's sexual health that increases semen volume, orgasm intensity, and it increases ejaculation power. Aside from helping you shoot ridiculous loads, LoadBoost premium blend of active ingredients, pygium, saw palmetto, zinc, and other supporting nutrients is formulated to improve prostate health and function. You can try LoadBoost today risk-free by going to www.loadboost.com and using promo code explicit10 for a discount, or click on the link in this episode's description. It will help our podcast immensely. Deshaun Watson may not need LoadBoost, but if you want to spice it up in the bedroom or hell, even on the massage table, give LoadBoost a go. And once again, that's loadboost.com and use promo code explicit10 for the discount on LoadBoost and anything else in the store. You can type the discount code at the checkout or our direct link in the description. So, for Rocco B and for Scotty G, we will see you episode 5 with Dr. Tomas. I think we're really killing it. I think we're on our way, and we can't wait to see you. We want to hear all your feedback. And we're going to have the fan of the week on as well on our next episode. So for Rocco B, Scotty G, adios.